welcome back, everybody. Today we have Robert Byrd. He's with the Racing Byrds series. Pretty much every guest I've had on the show that's from out west participates in his events, and they always have good things to say about Robert personally and his guests. So we finally got him on, and we're just gonna form our own opinions on how cool of a guy he is. So welcome to the show, Robert.
Hey, how you doing, Tim?
I'm doing good. So
You know,
just like everybody we bring on, we kind of want to learn a little bit about your background and where you came from and kind of what led you to what you're doing these days.
oh, oh, hey, you got some time? Because,
We could skip some years if you want to.
you know, yeah. No, it's it's one of those things. Like most of us, we've got some really cool stories that associate with how we ended up sitting in a garage with cars behind us.
Mhm.
It's it's something that's really cool. It's the one thing that really does always bind us together. We've got cool stories to tell, and you know, much like everybody, I was fortunate. I grew up in the Detroit area.
Oh,
You
nice.
know, my dad, he was a car guy,
Mm.
and he ended up going back to doing what he loved, and that was he ended up working at a body shop. So some of the things that I always reflect on are, geez, man, I'm getting old. And I think back, it's like, okay, so I was like 11 years old and we went to the Cobo Hall in downtown Detroit for the Detroit Autorama. It
Nice.
was right. It was a day I will never forget. It
Mm.
still gives me goosebumps.
Mm.
It just I was again very fortunate. I had lots of uncles that were into cars, and my father was into cars. My mom remarried. My dad was into cars. He had a '69 Mustang that was the fastest Mustang in Grand Rapids when he was in high school. There's one for you, Pops. I'll give you that one. Uh, and oddly enough, I was fortunate enough through work that I actually met a girl who is now my wife and has been for the last 26 years, that is also a car girl.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. And her father's favorite story is about the phone call that he got from the neighbor telling him, do you know where your truck is? And, he responded and said, I think the girls are out in it. And he said,
Mm.
well, yeah, they are out in the field doing donuts, and you might want to it's those types of things, right?
Mhm.
And as we went through being married and having kids, we had some cool cars. We
Mm.
had a Ag XK8, we had a big Lincoln Navigator, all the kids around in that kind of stuff. And I was coming up on a significant birthday. And literally that day on the way home, I happened to drive past, of all places, this Ford dealership. And that's a story we'll come back to as well. But
Okay.
I seen this truck, dude, it was badass. It had this GT package, had this killer hood with snorkels, it was all
Mm.
done up. I went home and Trish said, hey, what do you want to do for your birthday? Which was the next day. I said, well, so we went down and bought that truck the next day. It was awesome. Now, with that in mind, my wife's a few years younger than I am. So a couple, 3, 4 years go by. And as she was approaching that same date, the search was on. It was a given. She's going to get a vehicle, and there's nothing that's, this is it. It's just a matter of what do you want to get? And at this point, she was looking for something sporty.
Mm.
And, I mean, It really, she was looking at the Mustang, I have to admit, she was looking at some of the Dodge products. She was looking at Audis and all this stuff. And at the time, our boys were still pretty young.
Mm.
So we had the little monitor things in our house. I'm out in the garage in my office. She's in the house. I hear this racket going on. What the heck? Gotta get up. I go inside. What's going on? She's like, oh my God, the Camaro's coming back. That was all I needed to hear. Oddly enough, I love them all. I'll tell you, JDM to Corvettes to supercars to, you name it. I do love them all, but the Camaro has a special place for me.
Mm.
Growing up, some of the things, uncles, that kind of stuff. And it was crazy. Dude, we ordered that car sight unseen. This was in 2009.
Mm.
No idea what the color is going to look like, all of this stuff. And pre-ordered it, got it in like August of 2009. And at that point, there was when we were all still into forums.
Yeah.
Uh,
The old guys
we,
remember those.
we were on Camaro 5, and the wife was big on there. I was on there a lot. We made a lot of friends. And, when the cars started getting delivered, all of the early people, I mean, we started meeting as soon as we could. Hey, Carl's Jr. off of Beach Boulevard, and then we'll go for a drive, say, yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. I mean, we'd have 15, 20, 30, 40, fifth gen Camaros. And this was still in 2009. So it was literally rock star status.
Yeah. Those are very early.
Oh, and, people were just, what is that? What's, whoa. And, it's one thing when you see one of them show up, but holy crap, there's 15 of them in every color and you name it. And it all started from a car. And on Camaro 5, again, we made a lot of friends. We were very active on the forum and got a phone call. Said, hey, this is Elena Shear, and we're doing a thing tomorrow at Willow Springs. We need a stock Camaro that fits your profile. Would you be willing to come to a private track day?
That's Elena with Hot Rod Magazine, right?
That is,
well, former Hot Rod Magazine. Yeah.
Right? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, literally we left the house at 4:30 the morning and the next morning and drove straight out to Willow Springs. Oh my God, this is crazy, okay, great. And we got to meet John Hotchkiss from Hotchkiss Sports Suspension.
Oh, cool.
Right. I think this is where you and I may know each other from many years ago, but I guess we'll get to that.
Find out.
Right. We'll get to that eventually.
Okay.
Dude, it was the greatest thing. They used our car for some photos. Larry Chin, he used to be with Speed Hunter, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I have pictures that he took from that first day that, it's like, I still have those locked up in a vault, For me, it was one thing, I was all, oh my God, this is the greatest thing. And, Streets of Willow is not the terrifying ride that Big Willow can be. So it's a good intermediate course and I'm having a blast. And, I'm like, okay, Trish, you got to go. You got to go. You got to try this. Dude, John Hotchkiss gets in the car with her, which made her just, it actually made her more comfortable. And he rode with her. I mean, it's like, geez, they've been out there for like 30 minutes. You might want to come in and let the tires cool off a little bit,
Right.
we immediately, so that was like on a Thursday. So the following Monday, I was at Hotchkiss Sports Suspension in Santa Fe Springs getting sway bars and springs and what else you got, John? What else you
Right.
got for the
Yeah.
fifth gen? I get put all of it. I'll take it all.
Right.
Um, was there hanging out and talking to some of the guys that had eventually become really good friends of mine. They were telling me they were getting ready for this thing called autocross. I said, well, autocross, what is that? What
Right.
is that? What's going on? They're like, oh, it's this weekend, man. It's the good guys. They're at the Orange County Fairgrounds. Turns out this was the last good guys event that ever happened at the Orange County Fairgrounds,
Hmm.
and we went. Um, I have I have a video from that. Trish, again, smart husband that I am. I said, baby, you go first, go ahead. Come on, get in here, go drive this thing, have some fun. And there's a video. Chad Reynolds was the announcer back in Good Guys at the day. And, he's talking about the fact that this is the first fifth gen that's ever been driven at a Good Guys event. And all of these, I will say that I believe we are partially to blame for the creation of All American Sunday, because a bunch of our friends started going. People started realizing the fifth gen Camaro, and hey, geez, what if I was to pull out one of these C5 or C6 Corvettes, and you know, it became a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, no, wait, this is classic muscle only. Yeah. Uh, it really just went from going to every single event that we could possibly go to at the time. Super Chevys, every Super Chevy event that we could find that was anywhere in the area. We were going to Bakersfield and Phoenix, and oh, there was a road trip to Phoenix. 100, and this is a legitimate. There was more than 100 vehicles that met in the outlet malls leaving out of town on the 10 freeway.
Mm-hmm.
Conveniently, the wife works for the sheriff's department, who just so happened to block the freeway to allow everybody to get on.
Nice.
And, as I mentioned to my buddies, wait, don't be the first car. You want to be the last car.
So you can see everything.
No, because you got to catch up.
Oh.
I can neither confirm nor deny the speed limits that were attained during that particular. It was a road trip that really went down in history. Some of the things that happened, and it's that
Mm-hmm.
stuff right there of doing those things and going to those events. And again, we tried everything. I tried SCCA. That, hey, it was cool. I'll say I had a bad experience at my first one, so I just kind of, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, you go play whatever how you want to. Too many rules for me. And it was just the weirdest thing that I had gotten a Christmas bonus in like 2011. And I ordered some timing equipment and bought some cones, and we started doing some testing with the Hotchkiss guys in conjunction with the NMCA West. They were running drag racing out at
Yeah.
Fontana.
Mm-hmm.
And they had an empty parking lot. So again, it really did start out with, I'll say 10 or 15 special invite only things from Hotchkiss and some of our test cars with, that kind of stuff. And, we started doing an autocross, and the next thing I know, it's like, all of my Camaro 5 buddies said, you should do this, man. You should do this. So we got a hold of some friends at the Santa Anita Raceway Park, the horse racing track, and we set up our very first event. It was, although there were a few oddball cars, it was a majority of the fifth gen Camaro cars that were out there. And we put that event on, and all we heard was, you guys need to, when's the next one? You guys need to do this. You guys need to do this. And it literally just kind of got out of hand.
So how did you advertise those back then?
Well, the very first one really was, it was a private invitation on either Facebook or through the Camaro 5 forum.
Okay.
And then we actually started, so we turned the NMCA event into an actual event. And at that point, I had started working with Hotchkiss. I was driving their truck for them and doing some shows for them. And when John heard I was retired, he's like, oh yeah, no, you're coming to work for us. So I ended up actually working for them for about 6 years.
Okay.
But we created the Hotchkiss Cup. It was something that we've kind of morphed into what became the NMCA West Autocross series, and we still use some of the rules set that we use. We do things a little bit differently.
Yeah. Were you making up your own courses at that time? Was that all on you, or did you have some help from somebody?
I'll say that I was exposed to quite a few events prior to having to build my first course, oddly enough, as going and helping at some other events, and then certainly just by attending the hundreds of events that we attended, you see some things. And I will give the SCCA their credit in the fact that I did get onto their website and I dug into all of their rules, and the rules for building tracks, and and they actually had a book that I still have downloaded somewhere that's in hard copy that was this kind of element, some of the math of how to figure out cornering speed for a Z06 in a 1G turn that's 45-foot radius, and all of these things, and really just I love the math. So I used that and some graph paper, and was creating courses, and turned out I guess I had a knack for it.
So how do you, I mean, you've been doing this a while. How do you come up with new ideas for courses, new challenges, and not repeat same things over and over again?
Right.
It's a challenge, right?
It is, it is. Now, I will say that, it's one thing when you're in the same parking lot every time, right? Where it can get a little challenging to be creative. Now, when you have a large parking lot, it's not nearly as difficult. Okay, look, we're going to put the pit way over here, and we'll start from there, and we'll go this way. Next time we'll be way over here, and we'll start over here, and we'll go this way. And it allows for things to be a little bit easier for that. And again, some of the things that we dealt with early on, good guys, they were all the peanut, right? Yeah. Everybody remembers the peanut, hey, at the time, it was awesome. That was what we had, and you're going to let me drive my car out there pretty much as fast as I can, even though you were lucky if you got to 35 miles an hour. felt like you were doing 100.
I felt fast, right?
Right? Yeah. So, even till today, I see, I don't want to call them lazy, I guess some of them it's requested that, hey, just throw it back out there the same way. And, sometimes it's easy and, this works and you make little modifications. But for me, it's always been about trying to make the course as different as I possibly can each time.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't do as much actual drawing of courses as I used to, you know. Okay, I got a full scale map. I got my grid paper, 10
Mm.
feet to this cone. I get a cone and a cone, and, okay, radius for the corner. The center is here. Measure this off, these days. And part of it certainly has to do with pavement changes.
Yeah.
Crap happens. It's like, oh, yeah, there wasn't a hole there last time.
Right.
Okay, I guess we're going around that one.
Mm.
You know, I always, I always go in with some ideas.
Kind of wing it.
Yeah, I let the pavement,
Talk to you.
talk to me. I
Mm.
get out there and, again, it's, ooh, I haven't used this element in a while. Let's put one of those over here, and I can do, and I
Must
don't know.
work. It works.
I've been lucky, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know. Throw them out there, and the cones just kind of, the cone gods have blessed me with the ability to put out some fun courses. So
It's good. It's definitely a talent. I mean, not everybody can do it.
it's
That's for
tricky.
sure. Yeah.
It's tricky, and
So go ahead.
yeah, well, it just comes down to, again, we spend a lot of time doing these kind of events, and we still do from time to time. Hopefully more in the near future, because we now have a vehicle again that we can do that with. But um, you know even just watching other events on YouTube or whatever, on social media, and seeing courses, and it's like, ooh, you know I like how that went into that, and ooh, okay, don't do that. Don't do that right there.
Yeah.
Totally stubs off the whole course,
Mhm.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Those are usually easy to identify after one run.
and it is, and again, admittedly, respect to anybody that does it, without a doubt, because it's not an easy thing to do.
No.
And right, it's hard. It's that, you can never please everybody thing, so it certainly does get interesting from time to time. But
Yeah.
it's what you put into it, right?
That's right. Yeah.
It's what you put into it,
Yep.
and it tends to reflect on the course. And that, for me, is one of the big things that is very important for us. Being a driver is, I want a fun course, and I'll say for us, a fun course has become an issue. Yeah, there's a couple of small locations around here in Southern California that still exist that unfortunately just don't meet what we want to provide.
Hmm.
So having, at least, we got spoiled, dude. Auto Club Speedway, we started in a long, skinny parking lot, but it was awesome because it was long and
Mm.
it was wide enough, and you could do plenty there. But then we went to Lot 6, the infamous Lot 6 in Auto Club Speedway. elevation change, huge area, just really allowed for some great courses. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the cars that we have that are coming, for us, we don't get many compact cars, oddly enough. It's I was always worried that we would end up with 50 Miatas showing up.
Mm-hmm.
Just whatever. Again, I'm a JDM guy. I love them all.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the cars that we get really are their modern muscle or their classic muscle. You know,
Yeah.
the Corvettes started showing up because everybody, it was just a natural progression. Once everybody's seen how good the fifth gen was, it was like, oh, light bulb went off. Oh, geez, I wonder what a Corvette will do out here.
What
And
what do you think the draw is for the American muscle? Do you think it's your fast courses?
uh, yes,
Mm.
you know, yes,
Yeah.
the competition. We have, fortunately, somehow along the way, maybe because we were doing so many events back in the day and people were getting so much driving time that they really got good.
Mm-hmm.
uh we really are very fortunate that we do have some of the fastest guys, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll say it, in the nation.
Oh yeah.
And we'll have to talk about that more too, because uh, but that's what was always in our heart. I mean, we had that fifth gen, we loved the classic muscle. And when the Corvettes started showing up and beating all of my modern muscle buddies, it's like, okay, wait, we need a new
New
class.
class.
Sports cars, there you
Right.
go. You guys are over here.
Yeah.
I mean, it had gotten to a point where we actually had to create a supercar class.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got, all-wheel drives. We got E-Rays, C8 E-Rays coming out. We got Porsches and GT3 RSs and Lamborghinis, and holy crap, man, my Camaro doesn't stand a chance. Okay, you guys, you're in another class.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, that's literally how our classes really evolved. I mean, the NMCA West, when we really started gaining traction, 2014, 2015. 2016 was probably one of our first biggest years. And we sold out. Again, I have notes here somewhere. It's out on the thing. We sold out like 107 events in a row.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Yeah. Over 8-year period, 9-year period.
Yeah.
Um,
What was the
it,
cap on cars for that?
So for those events, we were capping it at 100 cars,
Mm-hmm.
mostly because we had a big enough area, and you know we were pretty easily getting 9 runs a day, and you do them in groups of 3.
Mm-hmm.
So you would get 3 laps, fairly, like less than 5 minutes between your runs.
Mm-hmm.
Half of these guys were, dude, are you done checking your air pressure yet? Come
Yeah,
on,
let's
we
go.
need cars over here. Uh, yeah. So that really kind of got to a whole level of just insanity. And because it's always been very important for us that we know what it's like to be a participant, and I want to give my people value. So that's why we always have had a limit of cars. And, 9 runs each day. Sometimes we would squeeze in that 4th run, just if on the last session. So it would be 10 for the day. And, okay, but the biggest thing is that we always had the regular awards, right? Every class, daily awards for who put down the fastest lap in each class. And then, a fastest lap of the day guy, because, you got to recognize who was the fastest in the parking lot that day.
Mm-hmm.
But we always had this event series type of thing. And for each event, it was both days. And we would take every lap from Saturday, average them together, take all of their runs from Sunday, average them together. We would combine those two totals. And then no matter what class you were, we just, everybody that was there, because penalties, 2 seconds for a cone penalty,
I'll screw up their average.
right? We were very adamant about DNFs, right?
Mm,
DNFs, which included hitting cones after the finish line. Anything after the finish line, I don't care if you went off course or not, it meant you weren't in control of your car, and that's a DNF. And most of our courses were from high 40s to low 60s. If you DNF'd, you got 99.99 seconds put down for that run.
ugh.
So it literally would kill you for a weekend.
Mm,
The idea was always about the event winners aren't always the guy that gets the fastest lap of the day.
hmm
And in most cases, they weren't. You know, there's, as time went on and people really, clued into, okay, not only do I need to be fast right out of the box, but I got to be clean. I
hmm
can't hit cones. I can't spin out. I can't go off course. And if I can do that, I can take home a really nice trophy.
Yeah.
And again, that was always something really important to us, providing some really amazing trophies. Uh, Again, part of, it's part of what makes an event cool.
Yeah. It is cool because somebody going in there knows he's not the fastest guy, has an opportunity because let's face it, usually the super fast guys cone away a lot of passes.
They're bonsai, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They're no holds back on trying to go as fast as they possibly can. And, hey, I respect that. That's all well and good. And again, we've got awards for that.
Mhm.
We got awards for that. So if you want, if you just want to go bonsai and put down the best run that you can, hey, perfect. Go ahead. The rest of us will be, looking at taking home that giant trophy.
That's right.
Looking to see if I actually had a convenient picture of some of the older trophies.
And was that the NMCA events or was that your events?
So again, the NMCA events, and I'll say that was our event. We did
Okay.
create that, and we did. It started with the relationship from Hotchkiss with Pro Media,
Mm,
and we continued that as long as John wanted to be associated, and it got to a point where hey, we can't do this anymore. We can't sponsor this. It's just taking too much time away from fabricating and getting awards and doing all of this stuff. Um, so we took it over, and we used the NMCA name, but we added NMCA West Autocross to it, and that was a collaboration between Racing Byrds and Pro Media.
mm,
You know, Steve and the guys from Pro Media, that's back when Jim Capizano was with them. And, again, a lot of this started a long time ago. Was something that, they said, here you go, let us know how it goes. And, it was an awesome, time.
mm,
We really did get to have a lot of fun with that.
right. I wanted to talk about your rule set a little bit because I've had some shows where we talked about rules just between different groups. So you got your Optimas, you got your UMIs, you got your SCCA, you got your, all those.
Right.
And of course, you have your own rule set. And I was just curious how you came, particularly with the classic muscle, how you came up with the cutoff of 1990.
So I want to say that our current rule set shows that it's 1982 for classic muscle.
Oh, 82. Okay. I got that off
Right.
your webpage, so maybe it's not updated.
No, actually, the web page should have the latest and greatest on it. Um, which let's see, if we can bring that up. So, uh,
So wait, how'd you
classic
come up
muscle.
with 82?
So 82, right? It was the first year of the third gen Camaro and the Fox body Mustang. And we allowed those two vehicles to be in classic muscle. So you could have an 86 third gen Camaro and you're still in classic muscle.
Okay.
But the overall cutoff really was 82. So it was that and everything older. Um, we are considering bumping it up, but where do you bump it up to? Because at this point, you have to keep certain vehicles out of classic muscle. And for us, it's more of the production cars that started coming out with ABS.
I like it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We have quite a few guys that have gone down the ABS route, right, in their classic muscle vehicles. And although, people are starting to get those things worked out and, it's getting better every time, it's still something that it's a separating factor,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll say a fourth gen Corvette, a C4,
Mm-hmm.
right? Is one of those where we had to break that line so that those would not be included in classic muscle
Mm-hmm.
because it really, the platform gives you an advantage. So again, we really just try to keep things super fair. You know, um, we do require, technically, we want everybody to be a street legal vehicle, right?
Yeah,
So
of
we
course.
want them to be registered and insured. And when questions have come up about vehicles, I go to the DMV and the insurance. What does the DMV say and what does the insurance say? This determines a passenger vehicle versus a truck, which I know I'm opening up a can. I know that I don't, don't do it. All right. Because that's something that we've watched, right, over the years, that truck class. And it's why we currently have a square body sitting in our garage. The truck class is something that really has gone crazy,
Crazy.
right? And it is not slowing down. It
Mm-mm.
is going to be one of the biggest classes. I mean, if you look at C10 Nationals and even Arnie's Pro Touring Truck Shootout,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
there's plenty of trucks that want to race.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, some places have some requirements on certain things that this doesn't count as a truck, but this does.
No,
Where does an El Camino fall in?
that's a car.
Hey, I hear the same A body chassis. I
Yeah.
get it. So my thing was, okay, how is it registered with the DMV? Is it registered as a commercial vehicle or is it registered as a passenger vehicle?
I have no idea how they get registered.
Oddly enough, some of those actually do fall into the commercial vehicle registration.
Really?
Yeah. Now the weird thing is Blazers,
That's a
which is,
truck to me too.
well, that one you
Mm-hmm.
would think easily falls into the truck category, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't have an SUV category. Because,
Right.
I mean, what is that? That's an original SUV. is
Right.
what it is. Certainly more of a truck than it is a car, but there's only a few Blazers that actually register as commercial plate.
Hmm.
Most of them register as passenger vehicle. Now,
Interesting.
right? That's one that, I'm not, Blazers are welcome. They run in the truck class, you know. We pretty much, I'll say for certain things, we follow the group, which is
Hmm.
something that I normally don't like to do. But, you know, if everybody says no to the El Camino, then hey, you race in classic muscle. Don't worry, it's all good. We
Yep.
got a spot for you. You know,
Hmm. I've
same
never
thing
seen
with
a El Camino at Autocross, so maybe y'all have some out that way. But
the weird thing is that 7 or 8 years ago we had several of them. Now
okay.
these days we have like none. You
Hmm.
know, and we had a few rancheros. And if you want to talk about a point of contention, because what did that thing weigh? And if you do, and holy crap, it's a great vehicle, especially, again, that's one where hey, you're competing with the classic muscle guys anyways, so
Right. Do you do the weight a percentage of the factory curb weight, or do you just have a fixed weight for each class?
so we do have weights per class.
Okay.
And we do follow basically the Optima, Good Guys,
Okay.
SCCA, CAM
Hmm.
weight limits.
Right.
It's 32 for classic muscle. It's like 34 for trucks, 34, 35.
So yeah.
It's in the rules on
Yep.
there.
So your rules are pretty lenient. Do you ever get anybody protesting? Because it's hard to protest rules when there are not a lot of them.
And I'll say that I'm hopeful that a lot of it has to do with the way that we try to run our events. And although we've had a couple of protests over the years, they've always been things that we've been able to resolve.
Hmm.
And again, we're just always trying to do, what's fair? What's fair here? You know,
Hmm.
is this fair? Is it fair that this car has to compete against that car? And we've been very fortunate that we have minimal of that because again we have truly there's 2 pages and I would always refer you to rule number 12. Racing Byrds reserves the right to determine
Yep. When you make the rules, you get to be the ruler.
and we do have to have that in there, and fortunately we've not had to say no,
Right.
you can't do that,
Right. Yeah.
which
So,
actually I guess isn't true, but we've had to do that.
but
We've had to tell a guy, hey, dude, you got a race car. If you don't do this and this and this, then I know you can get a plate. Hell, I can get a plate from Montana, and I don't even have to go there. So the registration thing is kind of,
yeah,
that's where we do have in the rules that if it looks like a race car and it smells like a race car, it's probably a race
well,
car.
race
And
car.
hey, you can run an exhibition or you know, in those instances, we've actually had a few people that have shown up.
Hmm.
And, you know, when they weren't as fast as they thought they were going to be,
They don't come back.
well, it just was never an issue
Hmm.
because, you'll never have a problem until it's the fast guy.
Hmm.
And that's again when it comes down to who gets to take home that $15 trophy, you know it's serious. This is serious business here.
Right.
uh, you know and and I respect that. I mean, I really do. We're competitive people. You know, it's part of the fun. I love doing that. And you know, whether it's running for the fastest in your class or if it's just trying to beat your buddy,
Mm.
you know, that you're there racing against, you know, perfect. Yes, that. So,
What
you know,
what class is usually the has the largest car count?
uh, mostly it's the classic muscle, but
Really?
classic muscle and modern muscle do from time to time get pretty close.
Mm.
Uh, for us, again, the people that really do show up in force really are our classic muscle guys.
That's cool.
You know, that's our core group. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
I
Me
love to
too.
see the old muscle cars uh, on the course. It's the best thing
Yeah.
ever.
Right. You know, 67 fastback Mustang going around a corner. Yeah. And you know, so I'll take this opportune moment to say, what do you got back there? What's going
Ah,
on there behind you? Yeah.
so 70 Plymouth Duster.
Uh-huh.
I've owned that thing since 1997.
Dude, that's awesome.
And of course, it didn't always look like this. It's only been
Uh,
pro touring
really?
since like 2017-ish, I guess. So um, I just autocrossed for the first time in 2021. So I just had my
Oh,
5 year anniversary at Mo Party.
nice.
Um,
Ah, yeah, what an event, huh?
oh, I love it. I love it. I
Yeah.
actually won the Grand Champion event this year, which is crazy.
Dude,
Still can't believe it.
congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Uh
So
who's you know Andrew?
Chenoweth.
Andrew and yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't there, so that's probably why I won.
Come on. Come on, Tim. Hey, you got the win. That's all that counts. You were
Yeah.
there, you
Yeah.
know.
It's easy to win when the fastest guy doesn't show up,
Uh,
No, seriously, it was close. The guy that won last year, David Crook, with his big yellow Super B. You've probably seen
right.
it before.
Yeah.
Um, it was close, very close between me
Nice.
and David and another guy, Mitch Lolito. He's got an orange 70 Challenger. Um,
Ah,
I think he's been autocrossing since I was born.
right. One of
So,
those. Yeah. Right. Right.
so, but
Yeah.
yeah, so that's that. It's got a modern Hemi in it.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then
So one
behind,
of the first cars I ever worked on was my cousin's Plymouth Duster in his uncle's garage.
Mhm.
Learned how to stick a screwdriver between the starter to bump the car started, and you know, lots of good stuff. Those, yeah,
Yeah. I've always, I mean, I kind of grew up as a Ford guy because my dad was into Mustangs.
right.
And then a guy I started hanging out with, actually in like fourth grade,
Yeah.
his dad was into restoring Mopars and he had a shop and hung out there a lot and it sucked me in.
It's you know,
So, uh,
we were so we were pretty fortunate in I'll say, you know, 2013, 2014, 2015 that we did quite a few events on the East Coast. And from like, I'll say 2012 till, I don't know, maybe 2017 or 2018, we used to do the Carlisle Chrysler
mhm.
Nationals. And we would take our gear out and we would put on the autocross out there for Ed and the group. And still to this day, one of my favorite events, just because of the atmosphere, the location, the people,
Mhm.
and the cars. You know, it's a really cool thing. Oh, I had to mute that. I was choking on my coffee. Uh,
No worries.
the Mopar group is a unique group of people that I absolutely love. The passion that these guys have for their cars, and I love the cars. You know, again, when I worked with John Hotchkiss, we had 70 Challenger that
Mm-hmm.
they called Emax. And from racing that thing at an autocross to driving it home from work on the 91 freeway on a Friday in rush hour traffic,
That's pretty awesome.
there is nothing cooler.
No, it really isn't.
Dude, there is nothing cooler. That's a car that, people talk about, the car has a soul, you know. They do.
Mm-hmm.
They do without a doubt. And boy, that car, I got to I actually, like 2017, I took it to Optima at Fontana, mostly just for the fun of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's, I mean, we were just out there for the fun at that point because
Yeah.
people were going to this crazy level of vehicle builds and suspensions and motors and things like that to show up with a torsion bar leaf spring car, hey, nobody had more fun that weekend than I did.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They look, you can't discount torsion bars and leaf springs though. Still pretty good.
Hey, if done right.
Yeah.
And there's so much to be said for the amount of fun that car provided.
Mm,
uh, Again,
yeah.
when we first met John, we were doing a lot of events with them. We were going to events with them, Mopars at the Strip and other events, and we were introduced to a lady that was, I'll say, my first instructor, Mary
Mary
Posey.
Pose. I knew you were gonna say that.
Left an imprint on me. No, literally, she left an imprint on me. From I love that lady. Uh, I won. I won. I won a case of beer while we were standing at one of the events in Vegas, and we were doing the ride along thing. She was giving rides to people in Emax, and I was taking a break. I was standing out in the kind of the pit area where people were hanging around. There were these three guys standing out there drinking beers, and they they'd had a few,
Yeah.
it was noon somewhere. They were having a great time, they were chatting, and I'm one of those. I'm quick to, hey, what's going on? What the hell? They were talking crap. Like, oh my God, I can't believe that old lady's getting ready to get in that car. I said, dude, I bet you that old lady puts down the fastest lap of the day. He's like, I bet you a case of beer. I said, you're on. It literally, she got in that car, went out there on course. They had just said, oh, the new fastest lap of the day was blah, blah, blah. And Mary went out there and proceeded to put a second on that fastest time.
Nice.
Yeah. And,
Nice.
I told her, I'm like, dude, it's okay. Keep your beer. I knew it. She's a ringer,
Mm-hmm.
but at that point, we literally took them over to the car and introduced them to Mary, and they were like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. That is so awesome.
Oh,
Later on
cool.
that evening, they showed up with a case of beer.
Oh,
So,
well, at least they stood up to the bed, right?
uh, you know, yeah. So we
Oh,
were,
shoot.
these are the people that we were exposed to. We were so fortunate,
Mm-hmm.
in our time starting out, that we were exposed to people like Mary Posey and John Hotchkiss and, Brian Hobaugh. He was still racing his first Camaro. And, it just, through the years, we have made lifelong friends with so many people. It's just crazy, to think that, the wife bought a car and it triggered all of this,
All of that. All right. Yeah.
every bit of it.
No, it's a great story. It's a great story. Do y'all still handle the timing and everything for events besides yourselves?
There are a few events that we still provide we did the C10 Las Vegas show
Mm.
because it's too far for Finch to come out,
Yep.
and we've done a few shows for them. We did the Utah one, and we did one in Texas the first time, but then they were able to bring their stuff out the last time. So the last time we actually went out as participants for the C10 in Texas.
Oh,
And
okay.
then, the wife was there for work on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday
Mm.
between the C10 in Texas and LS Fest, Texas.
Oh, perfect timing.
We had to stay.
Yeah, of course.
We had to.
I mean,
It was meant to be.
yeah.
So we got to participate in both of those events, and yeah, I think we have what is it? The SVRA is coming out to Bakersfield.
Okay.
We'll be putting on timing for them. Um, C10 again, it just depends on where the location is. Chris already sent me a message about doing Vegas again next year, so we'll be doing that. We have our own series again that we kind of restarted. We did 4 events this last year. We're looking at doing 5 for the series for next year, with an additional one that'll probably be like a one-off event where we do something completely different and crazy.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah,
Do you
we've done
give
it.
like a like a championship trophy for all of your events? Like after 4 of them, is there a champion?
Yes,
How do you
yes,
do
there
this
is.
score? How do you do the scoring for those?
So
That's a sweet trophy.
yeah, that was our ladies trophy. These are our daily trophies. These are our class trophies. The series trophies, which I don't have pictures of yet because that event just ended,
Mm.
had like 3D cutouts of the vehicles for each of the classes. So this one had a Camaro, the other one had a Mustang, the
Oh, cool.
Porsche on and they were standing off 3D. That's our Bob, the best of the best award.
Mm.
Uh, they did a championship award for us this year that again, I don't have a picture of that, but it's almost undescribable. It was a giant, yeah, came out really cool. Came
Check it
out
out on your
really
social media when
cool.
you get them, right?
Yeah. Again, just trying to get all the pictures from the event so I can get some of those put up. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, just crazy,
The,
crazy
the
awards.
the scoring, do you do the same thing for the whole series with averaging everything out?
So we do.
Yeah.
And each event, so when it gets to the averages, right? The event is over. One of the things that, again, is something that was very important to us early on was everybody gets the exact same amount of runs. If we start another round, we're going to run all the way through that. Everybody has a chance to get 9 runs. And it's gotten very competitive, you
Not
know.
bad it has.
And, if you get 3 or 4 extra runs, man, that's a huge, oh, hey,
Hmm.
that's track time. Um, we take, again, all of the averages from Saturday and all of the laps, average them together. We add the 2 days, and then we put everybody, regardless of class, and whoever has the lowest combined time, it's 50 points. Goes all the way down to 1. We've got 70 or more cars at the event. Everybody gets at least 1 point.
Hmm.
This year we only had 4 events, so we only scored the top 3.
Hmm.
There were quite a few people that attended all 4. There was a couple of people that only got in for 2 that really should have had that third one. They would have been in there,
Right.
but again, it's part of it.
You got to show
It's
up.
a series championship, right?
Right.
And the awards are worthy of wanting to sit on your, I want to take that to work, that's going
Right.
to be sitting on my desk for a while.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
So 50 points potentially at each event. And again, we only count the top three. We were prepared for a tie at the last event. Only because the top two guys were either first or second.
Wow.
First or second. And, you know, it looked like, again, if it held to true form, if this guy wins and this guy finishes second, holy shit, we got a tie.
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
Yeah. How do you handle that?
Well, we were going to make them do a runoff.
Do a run. Yep.
So it was going to be 3 laps, the average of all 3 laps for both of those guys. We were actually prepared because there was a possibility in the modern muscle class, as well as a couple of the other ones weren't as close, but modern muscle, there was a really good chance it could have been a tie. So we were prepared to make them run off.
That would
Didn't
have been
happen.
really exciting.
It would have. And I guess the good news is we didn't have to do it because, as it turns out, we got hit with a torrential downpour.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Literally, as thankfully we had finished the runs, and it was like literally as we were doing our award ceremony at the end, which kind of got cut short. But yeah, it was like 1.5 inches of water running across the parking lot.
Yeah, good thing you didn't have to do that runoff. Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, it only lasted like 15 minutes, and then it was gone. And it's like Vegas weather is weird.
Yeah. I've been there a couple times, and that rain is kind of weird when it rains in Vegas.
Hey, and yeah.
And then you wait an hour, and it's like it never happened.
And there's no sign of it.
Right.
It's clear skies. The ground is dry. Everything's good.
Yeah.
We were there in, I think it was 2012. It might have been 2011. In March, freaking snowed.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy.
Yeah, at one of the events, at the old Mopars at the Strip event.
That is nuts. I couldn't imagine.
We're all standing around freezing because nobody's got,
No. Yeah. How would you plan for that? You're in Vegas, right?
It's gonna be hot. Got t-shirts and shorts. Yeah.
So tell me about this the hot rod, the square body.
Oh, so we were working with TCI
with Jason.
Yes, and
that's cool.
We we got with George Reese from Reese Racing, helped us get the cab, get that mounted on the chassis, and he helped us build the roll cage for it. We were able to take everything. So this is where it started. I was coloring on a piece of paper and we ended up taking everything that we had to El Paso to drive Auto Collision to our buddy Freddie.
Mm-hmm.
We literally took him the chassis with a cab sitting on it. There it is.
Oh, wow.
That's what we started with. And it ended up with this. So we delivered everything on January 3rd. All new sheet metal. Again, the only thing we had was the cab and literally everything else in boxes. We dropped it off January 3rd, and he delivered the truck to us on March 27th in Las Vegas.
Dang.
At the C10 Nationals. Yeah.
Is that paint or is it a wrap?
That's paint.
Oh, So he even painted it. Jeez,
He painted it, put the logos on for us. Uh, you can't see it, but he ghosted our logo onto the hood, which
oh, that's
he's
cool.
redoing because we got a carbon fiber hood that he'll be bringing to Dino's for us. Um, yeah.
That's
So yeah.
a sweet truck. I like it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Uh,
LS power. Yeah.
yeah. Normally aspirated. It's a 408. We bored it and stroked it. It's all, you know, everything we could. Phytech, their ultimate LS kit with their remote reservoir and all of this stuff.
Mm.
She's it's got enough power. It's got
Yeah.
yeah.
T56 trans.
We went with the TKO.
TKO.
Uh, yeah,
Mm.
discussing things with Mr. Clutch himself, Will Beatty, who's working
Mm.
for McLeod these days. He's like, yeah, no, we're gonna do this, and the T56. We had a truck that was kind of the reason that we built this truck. George Reese from Reese Racing has this blue square body that he calls Sabotage.
Hmm.
And he, forced me to drive it a few times. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. I'm sure you hurt your arm making you
damn it,
driving it.
George. you know, okay, that we want to do that.
Hmm.
So that's really what led down the whole rabbit hole of doing the truck. And partially, TCI again has been one of our longtime sponsors. And I'll say I was able to help push some of the uppers
Hmm.
because the sales department wanted to start doing the square body, but management wasn't sure. And I think I was at least a little bit of a help in convincing Ed and Sal that they should do this. And yeah, now it's
Yeah. They're all over the place.
you want that chassis. If you got a square body, get that chassis. It'll
Hmm.
save you. It'll save you so much. Your suspension's done. Take whatever you got, bolt it right on it. Stick everything else in there. It's literally the recipe for builds these days.
Hmm.
It's hard to do a build, right?
Right.
It's hard
Yeah.
to do a build. If you're doing your own build and if you have a shop or you've got at least a big garage and you've got stuff and it's a great way to take your time,
Yeah.
and get these pieces. I'll do this. I'll get these pieces. I'll do this. You know, that works great. It's a great way to go about it. It takes time. It takes effort and it obviously takes money.
Hmm.
The alternative is you go to a shop, you know. Now, whether you get to pick and choose everything that you want, that depends on the shop. And at that point, I hope you got an American Express Platinum or something,
Yeah.
it they have, there's quite a few shops these days that are offering pre-built pro touring,
Hmm.
be it trucks or Mustangs or Camaros. And, I mean, Jesus Christ, dude, he's starting at 250,
Hmm.
starting at 250.
It's crazy.
Yeah. The worst part of it is you really do the math and you count the labor.
Oh yeah.
It's the labor.
Hmm.
It's the time. It's the labor. The parts are one thing. I somewhere between 55 and 65,000 in parts for me. For
Yeah.
me, is
Sounds
literally
sounds about right.
right.
Mm.
The chassis wasn't cheap, but it came with full suspension. I got the big Aero 6 Willwoods. I've got the Curry full floater. The Fab 9. That all came boom.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was a big chunk. Your motor, again, You can spend 10, 15, you can spend 30, 40, 50,
Right.
what do you want? How
Yeah.
much do you want?
Yeah.
And I'll say that, all of the miscellaneous shit, which then when you get down to the end and it's all the little things, boy, that shit really adds up, you
Hmm.
know. But, just okay, interior, what are we doing for this? I need exhaust. I need this. I need fenders, hood, bed sides,
Yeah. Don't forget wheels and tires too.
Oh, God
You know,
damn, forge lines are freaking expensive,
this is crazy.
but they're awesome. And we got a buddy, JDP, Jordan from JDP. He's an authorized dealer. They have racer discounts, and what you gotta, it was
I don't.
something that
I don't have them. I'd love to have them, but geez, those are outside of my budget.
oh, that was a tough one, but it
Yeah.
was how you get this thing stuck in your head sometimes, and you know
Oh yeah.
we had a thing. And I'll give it away. I'll go back to this here real quick. Let's see if we can find a picture that shows it. um, so obviously the red wheels is one thing,
They look good
and
on there. I like it.
right with the white and black, it just
Yeah.
really.
It's a good combo. Yeah.
So the part that I'm trying to find here is that the cage and the chassis are also victory red.
I saw the cage come. Oh yeah.
You can
Yeah.
kind of see it right there a little
Uh,
bit. Yeah.
uh,
Um,
yeah. Through the
but
window right there, you can see it too.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't have a picture in the bed because I don't have a bed floor. It's all open. My
Mm.
exhaust is in there. It actually looks awesome the
Oh
way
yeah.
it came out.
That's a
But you can see
chassis
the
all red.
chassis right there, right?
Mm.
So it's my D&E line, you know,
Ah, okay.
right? I don't know if the carpet matches the drapes, but the wheels match the chassis. I
Ah,
mean, come
shoot.
on.
Yeah.
That's got to be a bonus point
That's
in
got to be
D&E,
pointed.
right?
Yeah.
That's got to.
So have you done any Optima with it yet?
Well, again, we literally just got it this year, March 27th.
Oh, that was this year. Okay.
That
Yeah.
was this year. And,
Yeah.
we went to Texas, was like the first big event that we went. Well, he delivered it to us at C10 in March.
Hmm.
And we did a few laps, but we didn't run it hard. We took it home. We had a small oil leak issue that we had to deal with. Got that fixed, and got a few things sorted out. I had like 26 miles on it, and I took it down to Jeremy from Phytech. He's like, "Don't worry, I'll break it in on the dyno for you."
Yeah.
And,
Perfect.
he broke it in on the dyno for us.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, great,
Yeah.
perfect. And we immediately went from there to Texas.
Okay.
Did
Yeah.
C10 and LS Fest, and we've done one of our events. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Still shaking it down pretty much, getting used to it.
He's
Yeah.
still figuring things out. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
she's doing great.
good. Good. Um, so everybody I've talked to that's done your events really likes them. What do you think that separates your events from everybody else's?
I don't know. We give a shit. We care about this, right? We,
Mm.
we're we're whoever comes. I'm you. I've been where you're standing. I've been where you're sitting. I've been at that event, sitting around in a parking lot. And again, over the years, we were exposed to so many different types of events. We used to run events for Street Machine Nationals, where we got to go out to the East Coast and did some events out there and got to meet people there and did, pretty much everything and anything we could. And we just really looked at, okay, so what makes a good event? Well, got to have a good facility, you know. And we like 2-day events. And when we do 2-day events, we want camping. Overnight camping became a big thing at the NMCA West. We would have 18 RVs. I'm not talking little RVs. I'm talking big ass RVs, people with campers and trucks and guys sleeping in tents and people that are staying in hotels close. But the camping overnight at the event, was something that I'll say started back in the day from good guys down in Del Mar, you know, with people like Rob McGregor and Susie and Rodney and, the Thurmans. And, it was always a big deal that you hanging out, man. We're barbecuing, we're drinking, we're having fun, we're doing.
Mm.
So it made the event that much more of an experience, and that's always something, family, you
Mm.
know, we encourage. You got, you know, we have to be careful about how young, but we get you to sign a waiver. We got helmets, we get them buckled in. We want you to take your kid, we want you to take your cousin, we want you to take your wife. Hell, we want your wife to drive. You
Mm.
know, I'll apologize now for there's easily 6 guys that have had to buy another car for their wife. And the latest victim was Danny Weller. He had to buy that C8 for Haley because she drunk texted us and said, "Hey, can I drive my Durango at the event?" And we're like, "Hell yeah, you're in."
Mm.
Now, the next day, she tried to get out of it, and we told her, "There's no way you're getting out of this.
No, you're
Just
in.
be ready to drive."
Yeah.
So after she drove that first event in her Durango, it was, well, what kind of car are you going to get?
That's awesome. I
They
love
found
it.
a nice used C8, and now
Mm.
she's got, yeah.
She's hooked like him. Huh? That's
Uh,
cool.
you know,
Yeah. So do you think you've pretty much mastered the events, or you've still learned something
I
and
learned,
ways
I
to improve?
learned, I try to learn something every day,
Yeah.
and I try to pay, again, I watch every event that I can. I go to every event that I can. You know, we're always looking to, you know, hey, what works smoother? What works better? What's cool? What do people like? What can, you know, and a lot of it is, again, for us, I want a facility that has real bathrooms. Ladies don't like porta potties.
Mm-mm.
It's horrible, you know. Dudes, I don't care. I'll pee behind a building. Doesn't matter, you
Right.
know. Eh, okay. But we want the ladies out at our event because if they're there with you and they're having fun and they're riding or driving or, you know, it's good for all of us. Bring
Mm-hmm.
the kids. Let's have some fun. So we really, the family thing is very important to us. You know,
Yep.
we work this event as a family. It's me, my wife, it's our youngest son. It's one of Trisha's longtime friends whose kid grew up with our kid. They went to school together, and she used to work out at the autocross track for us.
Hmm.
I build I build the course. I build the course for somebody that's never driven autocross before. Meaning it's not you go through a gate and where's the next cone at? Is
Right.
it over there? You
Mm.
know, Experienced guys, again, I get it. I don't, oh yeah, I can figure it out. Sure. Yeah. Okay. I got good recall. I'm good on the track like that. That's fine. It's not a fun experience for somebody who's new, So I'm really good about how I build my courses and making sure that they're lined really well and there's sufficient cones that go completely around the course so that, you know, hey, look, just stay between the cones. That's all you got to do, you
Yeah.
know.
Mm. Yeah.
And again, those things are important, Good awards, got to have cool trophies. Got to have cool trophies.
Absolutely.
We give everybody an event shirt, limited edition. You don't get it unless you're a driver. There you go. And
Nice.
you know, Hondo from Laid Back. He came to our first event and it was all over. He was in, you know. He's like, dude, what kind of shirts do you want? Let's do this. Let's do this. I'm like, okay, well, let's, we'll work a deal. We'll get some sponsorship. We'll get some shirts. Uh, you
Cool.
know, it's the little things that really do matter,
Mm.
limiting the number, you know, back in the day, we could have had 200 cars coming to an event, but Jesus, everybody might have got, maybe 6 runs. Who knows? And again, now we limit to 75. And that's because we want to try to get 4 full sessions. We want to try to get 12 runs. We want to get a lot of runs,
Yeah. Does it sell out immediately first day?
So the last 2 did sell out. It wasn't like they sold out the first day,
Mm-hmm.
but we did sell out the last 3 events. The last 2 went pretty quick.
Yeah.
Again, when we were at the peak of the NMCA West, there was one time that they clicked the tickets to go live 1 minute early, and I got complaints from people that went on exactly at the
Mm.
8 a.m. time marker, and the tickets were gone already.
Wow. That's crazy.
It was
Yeah.
it was an honor, quite
Yeah, of
frankly.
course. Yeah.
But it was like, holy shit, oh my God, everybody's getting, I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. We can only sell this many spots. If somebody wants to, yeah. So
Yeah.
we always try to take care of, people that we can. And, some people will buy a ticket and something will happen, and, we'll handle it on the side. I mean, we do say, no refunds, no transfers, and this and that. But, if you're smart and you know that all you have to do is call us, we'll do everything we can to help.
Yeah.
And that same thing applies to the rules. Hey, look, if you think something wasn't good, all you got to do is come to me. Come to me. Let's talk about it.
Talk about it. Figure it out.
And, I'll get some impartial people. We'll get that other person, we'll come together and, hey, what's the right thing here? What's fair? What's right? Is it right that,
Yep.
so if you just, I don't know. I don't, it's something that I have a hard time understanding. And that is, it's not really, I don't know. I don't know if there's some special sauce or what it is. I mean,
It sounds to me you're just treating people fairly and doing what you think's best to put on the most fun event. And just this time we've been talking, it makes me want to go do it. Although it's a little far away, so I'm not sure I will.
plan a trip, you leave the wife at the casino, whatever, bring her to the track,
They got some nice rental cars in Vegas. I get one of those. Huh?
oh, they do, as a
Yeah.
matter of fact.
Yeah. Oh goodness. So, well, it's been a while. We can probably start wrapping this up. Do you have some sponsors you want to shout out to, or?
Oh, well, we do.
I know you got a lot of them.
We, we can't do this without our sponsors. It is what allows us to be able to provide amazing awards, which are built by 77 Designs. Chris and Mary Stoner are amazing. They do all of our awards these days. I'll say exclusively, but they make some awards from time to time. The kids from UNLV, their Formula SAE team this year, we were able to donate almost $10,000 to them over the year.
Oh, nice.
They provided track support for us. They sent course workers.
Oh, that's cool.
Right. Willwood has been the one big sponsor that was literally the first big sponsor that we ever had. Willwood and TCI have been around the longest. Anderson Composites sponsors our Modern Muscle. McLeod, Will Beatty, he sponsors our sports car class for us. Yeah, there's like so many of them. It's like JBA. JBA is I don't know if you know Jay Biddle or not, but yeah, JBA headers from back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, they're in San Diego and they have their own speed shop these days, and that's all they do. And they've actually been a sponsor with us for quite a few years. They bring a large group of people, and he's like, hey, yeah, and I'm like, okay, you're on the shirts, you're a sponsor, we really appreciate, everything you do. Um, Pat Sheely and the Sheely collection. He's been a sponsor for us. He actually sponsors one of our classes for us. Phytech is sponsoring our truck class these days. Um, Hondo with Laid Back is responsible for our apparel. He does all of the stuff. I send him a little file, and next thing I know, 100 shirts shows up, and it's awesome to have the affiliation with so many great companies. These are the guys that actually, yeah, they're making stuff, they're selling stuff, they're a business, they're just like any other business, but they actually love supporting the people that are running their gear. And the way they do that is they give them places to go. Every show that they go to, everything that they do costs money, costs a lot of money. Even to come to one of my events, it's you got to get people there. You got hotels, you got money for sponsoring the trophies, and even our stuff adds up. You're doing Optima. Oh my God,
Yeah.
you get a lot, but you have to be there, and these are the companies that show that they actually care about what is going on in the automotive world, and they're out there all the time. So we're very fortunate to have so many great companies with us.
Yep. Where can people find you? Social media?
Racing Byrds on everything. Racing Byrds on Instagram, Racing Byrds on Facebook, Racing Byrds on YouTube. And it's Racing Byrds BYRDS. Yeah.
This was awesome.
Dude, it was great talking to you.
Yeah.
We're going to have some side conversations because there's many things I still need to know. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can do that now. Let's wrap it up here.
Thanks, Tim.
Again, I really enjoyed it. Later, everybody.